Everybody, man, I hope you've had a great day today, and I hope that today was one of those days that you can come to the end of it and look back over the people that you met and the things that you did, and man, you just made the most of your time, and you killed it in terms of not having anything that was wasted today. And if you had 2 or 3 main things that you really wanted to get accomplished today, I really hope that you were able to do that. I've been doing a couple of videos on really time management and really more life management, because we've only got so much time, right? And I threw some things out there that some people refer to as the laws of unassigned time. And law number 1 on the last video we did was that unassigned time will not naturally flow to my mission or to the area where I'm called or the strongest. On the contrary, unassigned time and undisciplined time will often flow to those things that I would consider distractions or areas of weakness, or not my primary calling. If you'll remember we used Acts chapter 6 as an example of that. So you might want to go back and just check out that video. So here's law number 2. Unassigned time, law number 2 is that if I don't claim my time, others will. Okay? Very well-meaning people. Now, I'm talking to pastors, and I'm talking to some Christian leaders here, and just by definition, you want to give yourself, and you want to give your time, and man, your schedule, you don't see it as your own, that's God's. And we do things as unto the Lord. But now, if we're not careful, I know you're likable, you're approachable, you're a person probably, when people see you as a person of influence and a person that might hold the potential solution to their problem or their dilemma, or will give them wise counsel, why wouldn't they approach you? I mean, we go to people that we perceive are wise and who have a walk and a life with the Lord, because we want to get some good counsel from them. There used to be a little evangelism booklet called The 4 Spiritual Laws. And the 4 Spiritual Laws began with a statement something like this. It said that God loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life, or God loves you and has a purpose for your life. Well, there's another side of that, and that is that God does have a purpose for your life, but truth is that if we allow him, there are a lot of other people who would have a plan and purpose for our life as well. But the fact is that we're only one person. There are only so many waking hours of the day, and you know something, you may be a dad, you may be a grandparent. There may be a very close-knit circle of people who depend upon you very, very much. And so it just is a loving thing to do, not to just sort of flow through our days and flow through our weeks and take appointments as they come, but to be very deliberate about that and put those things down, just as you would, you want to give that person your undivided attention when you're talking with them. And if we're not careful, if we just fill up our schedule and fill it up, I would just say, just make certain that we're doing that with a pure heart and pure motives, and that is to minister to those people, to really give them some good and godly counsel, not only to feel obligated, because if you do that and you overcrowd your schedule all the time, and you're giving and giving and giving and giving, and really there may be very little thing going in, what'll happen is, if you're not careful, you'll resent those people around you, because you'll just perceive them as taking something away from somebody else, possibly your own family. And the reason I say that is that the other day I was reading a book called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. It's by a man named Pete Scazzaro. He told this story about when he was a little bit younger. They were serving this really growing church. He preached 3 times on Sunday morning and was just, of course, exhausted at the end of that. But one Sunday, a couple they lived in New York, and one Sunday a couple drove from Connecticut, from a church where a friend of his pastored. And again, he preached 3 times on Sunday morning. There was a lot of emotion that goes into that. He was looking forward to going home and, being with his family and kids at lunchtime and kind of chilling for a bit. But this guy from a different church that had come said that he and his wife wanted to get to know him a little bit better and said, hey, can we come over and hang out for a while this afternoon? And Pete just is honest and said he didn't do it out of a sense of ministry to the other people. He did it because he was afraid if he said no, that they'd go back and tell his friend that, he basically dissed them for the day. And so he agreed to it. They went to the couple's house and they stayed for quite a while. And I won't get into all of the details, but Pete just said this guy, probably a really nice guy, but he just kept talking and talking and talking and talking. And Pete would look at his wife like, what do we do, man? I mean, it got awkward. Then it got to be an hour and then longer, and the guy just kept on. Finally, the man's wife needed to take a restroom break, and he needed to make a phone call. And so they did that, and they talked to one another like, what are we going to do? Our kids would like our attention, and they were small at the time. They had a 3-year-old. They came back in, and they picked up right where they left off and talked and talked and talked. Finally, the wife, Pete's wife, said, where's our daughter? She was very quiet. And those of you that had little kids, it's not always good. Make a long story short, they started searching the house and she wasn't there. So they began to panic. And the mom, Pete and his wife, both kind of together thought to themselves, oh my goodness, the pool. And so they ran out to the pool. And again, they lived in New York, but they had about one of these 3-foot high children's pools, but she was only 3, right? They went out there, and somehow, to their horror, this little girl had taken all her clothes off, and she somehow got up and down that ladder, and she was standing in that water on her tiptoes with her chin barely sticking out of the water, and they didn't know how long she had been there in that position, just trying not to swallow the water. And so they got her out of the water and they restored some order to their family, but it was a real wake-up call for Pete. And I'm sharing that because he admits that the primary reason that he was so concerned about meeting with those people, even though it was a drop-in and kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing, and normally he assigned that time with his family, who needed that time with him on that Sunday afternoon, he didn't do it out of a sense of that there were real serious needs on that family's part. He just did it because of the way it would have made him look to his friend had he not. And so I would say, let's just check our motives. Let's do things as unto the Lord, and be honest with people about what we have to give on a particular day, and then trust the Lord to deal with their own hearts if that's not received well, because they don't know what else you have going, and every time you say yes, nobody really knows what you're saying no to. Okay, that's all I had for today. That's the second. So I would say, claim your time, and claim it for your own welfare, for that of your family, and certainly your relationship with your Lord. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.